Hello, this is Flo Davis, FLOW. But anyway, I this came to me while in the shower. I was gonna do kind of like go on a rant, but I was like, this is pretty important. I think a lot of people need to know all this. So I was like, oh, I'll do just like an entire video, and I'll put this on Facebook and YouTube. I also do like I'll do little statuses on my Facebook as well because this is really important. I need you guys to get this. So it kind of started off with a conversation I have with my sister. Be like, "Oh, you be on that Black Power stuff?" Not really. I don't be on like Black Power stuff. The fact is, I just know myself, and then I just want to speak on the importance of know thyself. So I'm gonna call this "Know Thyself" Part 2. So when we speak of knowing thyself, there's really no reason not to know yourself in this day and age, especially if you're the so-called black or colored people, especially all the things that we've been going through. We've got misinformation and misuse and all of these things. So we are beyond the fact that you could, let me tell you, there's three ways, okay? And then even the internet, like a black man was part of inventing that. So with the internet, you can find information on your phone. There is the computer, and there's even free phones, even those go slow. And then beyond that, all of that, there's a library. So to me, there is no reason at this point in this day and age not to know thyself. It doesn't even matter what religion you're in. That's why I have to pick on religious people for a minute. The good book tells you, or your Bible, the people that love the Bible said, study to know thyself approved. Nobody studies. You have to really study and go deep and go in depth and question everything. Question everything they taught you. If you're in a church or if you're in a religion where you're not allowed to question, then you're at the wrong church or the wrong religion. Period. They should ask for a divine intervention to help answer it or put you in a direction where you can search and find things, because everything is searchable thanks to this mother that we call the internet. So yeah, I want to speak on that, kind of like know thyself. So when I go into know thyself, even there's so many things, many facets of knowing yourself. There's the spiritual side. There's different planes that you live on, like the astral realm plane, your spiritual realm, your physical self, your mental self. So know thyself is a lifelong process. So that's why I know thyself too. So you can never not know enough about yourself. So, I mean, some of the other things I was thinking about too when speaking into knowing thyself and really knowing who you are. I'm not a judgmental person, and this is not meant to be judgmental, but I speak from various experience and various things that I've studied. Also, it's talking about studying. Like I said, not everyone can afford to go to a big school. That's okay. Thank God that we have what we have. There's Khan Academy. There's also Coursera, Coursera, Coursera.com, and then Lynda.com has a free 7-day trial if you're on LinkedIn. So, and there's YouTube. So there's a wealth of place where you can get information and stuff like that, even if you don't like per se reading yet. You know, there's videos and tutorials where you can get a whole wealth of information on yourself and learning yourself. So speaking of that, I'm gonna start. I don't know where I kind of was off, didn't know where to start, but I'll start with things that I've observed. So as far as actions and observing, um, watch your actions. Your actions become your habits. Wait, no. First of all, watch your thoughts. Your thoughts become your actions. Your actions become your habit. It's not even speaking. I don't really listen to what people say. I observe of what they do, and then I observe what I do, so I can make sure that every day I'm trying to align myself with what I'm saying and that I'm doing the right things. And like I said, a lot of times of us, we are, and myself included, I'm one of the biggest people for this. That's why a lot of times I don't say anything, or I'll say no, or I'll contemplate something. Because once I say yes, a part of me is, if I say it, then it has to speak into existence, because I don't want to be like other people that disappointed me or so. And however it was from childhood or forever, the many things, the many programs and things that we're dealing with. But I just want to be a living example. I want everything to be truth all around, the best that I can. Not saying that I won't make mistakes or do things. So that's why we should be a little bit slower to jumping and saying yes. We have to see what all yes entails. And there's an amazing power in no. And more people need to say no and make sure that you have energy and time for yourself. You should put yourself first. So make sure you have energy and time for yourself. You give that a lot, because if you don't give energy to yourself, you won't have it for anyone else. It's kind of like, I'll give an analogy about the house with the bricks. So a person is trying to build a house, and that house could help a lot of people, but he will never get that house done if every time someone comes up, oh, I need a brick, you need a brick. The house is not built, and then we're all lost. So you guys have to really think about the way you do things. There's just a certain way and a certain energy. You have to refill the energy of yourself first, and then you could be able to share it with the world. So that was a kind of light little spiel off on there. But another thing that I've observed when I'm talking about knowledge of yourself, I understand, and I want to do the same thing when I have kids. You want to be able to give them things that you didn't have, and I understand that's a very big deal. But more important than that, um, the best thing you could teach them is knowledge of thyself and knowing what they're capable of, even without you. Knowing that a brand or Jordans or whatever, all that, that doesn't define who they are. Whether rich or poor, is everything is mental. You create your own reality through your mind. So give them skills that you didn't have. That's more important than giving them stuff that you didn't have. Show them how to make a business. Show them from the childhood, okay, I got cookies, or here's lemonade. Here, let me go. If there's a lemon tree and I have a friend that, we can barter, we can trade. Let me get these lemons and every lemonade, 25 cents. Okay, cookies. Let me bake cookies from scratch. You see the Girl Scout cookies in front of, they bake cookies, and let them know, show them how to finance, how to balance. Things like that you should be teaching them. Same thing with the knowledge of thyself. When you tell them, okay, how beautiful, beautiful your hair is, and this like this, and other things that they'll get from their father or get from a mother. If there isn't a single, they won't be looking for that love in outside places when they're able to talk. So those are things that you should really be, that should be your first priority with your children, building them up and speaking life into them, and they could speak life into other people, and they could build life. Life begets life, death begets death. So speaking on that too, going back to the good books, I don't know if I said this already or if I didn't, but again, people will perish from their lack of knowledge. That's in the good book. You don't. So ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is death. And then study to show thyself approved. Again, so again, you guys really, really need to study. When you watch a spelling bee, this is what I'm going to recommend as well. When you study, I've been blessed because I had a grandmother who was a teacher. So when I didn't know something, she would say, look it up in a dictionary. We had a really good dictionary. So I would recommend getting an Oxford dictionary, not a Webster. So a lot of things have been misconfused and strangled and make it confusing. Because let me break down even English. English is an equivocal language, which means it's meant to confuse. So you really want to study etymology. Etymology is the origin of words, the root origin. So when speaking backtracking a little bit, that's why I talk about if you watch a spelling bee, they say, okay, what is the root origin of words? So a lot of times we'll do something and we repeat something, regurgitate, and we'll call ourselves these things like black. I'll give a prime example. You'll call yourself black or you'll call yourself this, and you don't even know where that comes from. The root origin of black means BLAEC. That is German, Slavic in origin, and that actually means white and palish skin. If you look up BLAEC, and then I think there's the two little dots. I don't know what those remember, but look up the root origins of words. So that's why I say the so-called black and so-called white. These are actually a caste system. So there's actually not anyone really black or really white. A white person is more colored than a black person. When they die, they change. They change different colors. When they're mad, they get red. So again, not to offend anyone or anything like that. I'm just speaking what facts. We're actually, if anything, you're more copper color, like the penny, or melanin, or more of the ground or dirt. You're not actually black. So no one's really, black is like the shirt is an absence of color. So there's not really a black or void. Maybe we should think about the universe, but I don't even think, there's a void, because that's full of stuff. That's what they call the dark matter. So that's full of energy. So nothing is really void. Everything is full of energy. So I'm always going off on tangents. But yeah, let me say, but stuff like that, that's what you need to teach your kids. And when it comes to knowing yourself, and like I said, I know nowadays a lot of people don't like to read. So I'm going to recommend, it's going to be down here in the links and on my Facebook as well as on YouTube, watch Hidden Colors. That's a great documentary to kind of get you a nice little overview of what you've done, where things come from, origins, different information about people, so you can know who you are. So you don't have to just be a slave to a brand or slave to $1,000 shoes and all this stuff. Like some of the shit people do is foolish. They have $1,000 pants, ball mounted $1,000 Balenciaga shoes, and don't have a fucking car. So you're wearing like $3,000 worth of things because again, that's like the mental slavery that you're not aware of, like the same branding that you were branded in slavery, you're branding yourself again with these brands. And again, not saying there's nothing wrong with nice things, but again, if you look at Hidden Colors, if you look at these different documentaries, like the Italian, like it's supposed to be superb, they didn't even have silks and fashions until the Moors went there and introduced them to silk and garments. So Italy is actually not the fashion capital of the world. It was actually in Africa before they, with the silks and the advanced form of trade, they didn't really have those garments and robes like they're so-called now. So again, like I said, have a lot more knowledge of self. When you have a knowledge of self, you won't be out here chasing things and trying to keep up with the Joneses because you realize a lot what they're doing. Another thing I'm going to recommend, also Adam Ruins Everything, is great on YouTube because again, from jaywalking to all of these laws, sometimes laws were created a long time ago to profit the rich, and we don't even know, why they're were created. We don't even know why we call it. We're just like robots. We don't question anything. We just accept it as it is. It could be damaging and death to you. Same thing with health. I'm going to speak on this. My grandma has diabetes, and a lot of the blacks and stuff like that, the so-called black, are suffering from this disease. And actually, again, like a lot of us are eating ourselves to death because every body is different. Like everyone's body can't be eating the same thing. Like for example, dairy is not good for me, so you have to really know yourself. So I'm gonna put like different foods I've done. Before there's probably a post with different things like the kidney beans, good for the kidneys and stuff like that. But I'm gonna break down different foods and stuff like that that'll regulate your blood pressure, different foods that'll regulate your insulin levels, things like that. And then I'm also gonna cook them, and you'll go see through my journey how I'm cooking for myself as well as cooking for my grandmother and my family to make sure that we are ingesting healthy food. We are ingesting healthy, again, like I said, there's some of the things I put down here, like Adam Ruins Everything. Watch what you're ingesting in general, like what you're watching, what you observe. At the end of the day, like I said, you can be putting things and knowledge of self, and not saying nothing's wrong. Again, I'm not one of those people because I understand the laws of unity. Comedy is actually great. Laughter is actually a excerpt of joy. So you have so much joy. So laughter is really good for you. So I definitely recommend watching comedy all the time. But some of this other shit that you guys watch, I mean, I watch it sometimes too, like, to get a little laugh again, but I'm not consumed by it. But like, the LA hip hop wives and all this bullshit, sometimes, okay, let me watch something else. Let me watch a documentary. Let me watch something that's showing me who I am, how to eat, how to live, how to energy, how to release things, how to be free. And talking about forgiveness is it not for the other person? Is definitely, even though these things are so cliche, they're so true, is for yourself. Because I mean, I forgive about everything. What I don't do is I watch people's behavior and what things, and then I put them in a different place from my experience with them, and that's it. So, like I said, I've learned some things. Sometimes I might give them 2 or 3 chances. They do the certain thing. I put them there, but I don't hold any grudges. But this is just where I put you. Like you might be someone. Okay, Stick, you're over there, or you're the person that might not be able to get in my bubble because you're consuming. I can't deal with energy vampires. If you can't create your own energy, or you always need to feed us and you don't know who you are, you need to slow down, and you don't need to be around anyone. You need to figure out who you are first and stop trying to impress other people. If you know who you are, you wouldn't want to be anybody else, because God has gave you a unique gift and a unique mission that was only for you, that no one can take away. So you be so involved in your own gifts, and from that gift you'll get multiple gifts. But the fact is, everyone's watching everyone else, and that's why I don't even know what their own gifts are. So from what my experience is, like I said, everyone's at different levels. I don't really judge. I just kind of learn and be like, okay, this is where you are from what you observe. From what I observe, it doesn't matter what you said. From what I've observed and where your actions, where your energy, this is where you are. So this is where I'm going to place you. So that's why I kind of place people in a different place. Like, I don't hate anyone, but some people, okay, they're not going to be in my circle, so don't try to get in. Period. So like, if you're not growing me or involving me, and that's from friendship, relationship, why are we here? And that's what you should be asking your circle as well. Like birds of feather flock together. Same thing. Another thing I learned: you don't want to be the highest in your group. If you're not, you're either things, like I told you, the universal laws do not lie. So if you're way up here, only way to fill the gap is for you to eventually come down here or something, or they break away. So, but I'm always trying to go higher. So you want to be with a balance of people. I'm not always saying be with it, because you there be with a bunch of people that are above you as well. You want to have a great feed of above people, but you have something here to do too as far as serving, because there's someone that helped you when you needed it. So you want to be able to help people too. God bless my God that He helped me, because that talking about words and stuff like that are more powerful than just giving people shit or giving people money and stuff. Like his words when I was in depressed and in different modes, they would speak to me, that Kate me made me part of who I am today. If it was not for who I am and him showing me a different experience, I wouldn't be who I am today. So think about who you can help and how you can make their life better and evolving, and respect what different places you're, because there's a point where I wasn't enlightened, where I was closed-minded and stuff like that. And I've really learned patience, but a lot of times tribulation and hard times to work patient. And sometimes you're put in tribulation for God to remove certain people from your life when you realize who they really are. Because in tribulation, that'll show a person's true colors and their true loyalty and truly who they are. So that's it on my rant. Know thyself. Beyond Jordans, beyond all this shit, spend time with your children and make sure they know themselves and learn. Teach them things you wish someone would have taught you. Think in that nature. Give them a foundation. I wrote this before, and this is completely true. Your child's floor should be your ceiling. So where you ended up, that's where your child should stop. You know, that, I mean, not stop, but that's where that should start. So they should be rising on the legacy that you left as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of $200 a sneaker, how about $200 a month on their college fund or something like that? You know, there's so many different ways that you should do this thing, and I'd rather be wealthy than look wealthy. So remember that. So peace, blessings, love. This is not anything judgmental, but I want you guys to think beyond right now. You know what I'm saying? Think about beyond the foundations and the legacy that you will leave. And they might be mad at you in the beginning if you tell them, like, I will about this, but it's okay. You know, you're not meant to just be there. I mean, I would recommend being part of a friend too, but more than it, if you had a choice, be a parent first. And a lot of people don't have people being parents, and they're lost and they're looking for love and everything else out there. So, you know, be a parent first, even if it sacrifices being a child's friend. Build them a strong foundation for them to stand on. Peace and blessings and love.